Hey everyone, today we'll be reading Leviticus 21 to 27. It's going to be the end of Leviticus. And I got something for y'all at the end. I'm going to attempt to do...
blow on the shofar.
Attempt to blow the trumpets. I'm going to attempt to. So, I really suck at it. On my TikTok, I have a video of me doing it, and it was like the best one I done. So if I fail to do this one and I can't for some reason do it, then the TikTok's on here, so you can go find the TikTok on my TikTok page. Shouldn't be too far down. Should be like January probably, but well, let's get started. And the Lord said unto Moses, Speak unto the priests, the sons of Aaron, and say unto them, There shall be none defiled for the dead among his people, but for his kin that is near unto him, that is for his mother, and for his father, and for his son, and for his daughter, and for his brother, and for his sisters, a virgin that is nigh unto him, which hath had no husband, for he...
Verse 3, I kind of
messed up. Alright, so it says, And for his sister a virgin that is nigh unto him, which hath had no husband, for her may he be defiled. But he shall not defile himself, being a chief man among his people, to profane himself. They shall not make baldness upon their head, neither shall they shave off the corner of their beard, nor make any cuttings in their flesh. They shall be holy unto their God, and not profane the name of the Lord their God. For the offerings of the Lord made by fire, and the bread of their God, they do offer, therefore they shall be holy. They shall not take a wife that is a whore, or profane, neither shall they take a woman put away from her husband, for he is holy unto his God. Thou shalt sanctify him, therefore, for he offereth the bread of thy God. He shall be holy unto thee, for I, the Lord, which sanctify you, am holy. And the daughter of any priest, if she profane herself by playing the whore, she profaneth her father. She shall be burnt with fire. And he that is the high priest among his brethren, upon whose head the anointing oil was poured, and that is consecrated to put on the garments, shall not uncover his head, nor rend his clothes. Neither shall he go into any dead body, nor defile himself, nor his father, or for his mother. Neither shall he go out of the sanctuary, nor profane the sanctuary of his God, for the crown of the anointing oil of his God is upon him. I am the Lord. And he shall take a wife in her virginity, a widow, or a divorced woman, or profane, or an harlot, these shall he not take, but he shall take a virgin of his own people to wife. Neither shall he profane his seed among his people, for I, the Lord, do sanctify him. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron, saying, Whosoever he be of thy seed in their generations that hath any blemish, let him not approach to offer the bread of his God. For whatsoever man he be that hath a blemish, he shall not approach, a blind man, or a lame, or he that hath a flat nose, or anything superfluous, or a man that is broken-footed, or broken-handed, or crooked-backed, or a dwarf, or that hath a blemish in his eye, or be scurvy, or scabbed, or hath his stones broken. No man that hath a blemish of the seed of Aaron, the priest, shall come nigh to offer the offerings of the Lord made by fire. He hath a blemish, he shall not come nigh to offer the bread of God. He shall eat the bread of his God, both of the most holy and of the holy. Only he shall not go in unto the veil, nor come nigh unto the altar, because he hath a blemish, that he profane not my sanctuaries, for I, the Lord, do sanctify them. And Moses told it unto Aaron, and to his sons, and unto all the children of Israel. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron and to his sons, that they separate themselves from the holy things of the children of Israel, and that they profane not my holy name in those things which they hallow unto me. I am the Lord. Say unto them, Whosoever he be of all your seed among your generations, that goeth unto the holy things which the children of Israel hallow unto the Lord, having his uncleanness upon him, that soul shall be cut off from my presence. I am the Lord. What man soever of the seed of Aaron is a leper, or hath a running issue, he shall not eat of the holy things until he be clean. And whoso toucheth anything that is unclean by the dead, or a man whose seed goeth from him, or whosoever toucheth any creeping thing whereby he may be made unclean, or a man of whom he may take uncleanness, whatsoever uncleanness he hath, the soul which hath touched any such shall be unclean until even, and shall not eat of the holy things, unless he wash his flesh with water. And when the sun is down, he shall be clean, and shall afterward eat of the holy things, because it is his food. That which dieth of itself, or is torn with beast, he shall not eat to defile himself therewith. I am the Lord. They shall therefore keep mine ordinance, lest they bear sin for it, and die therefore, if they profane it. I the Lord do sanctify them. There shall no stranger eat of the holy thing. The sojourner of the priest or an hired servant shall not eat of the holy things. But if the priest buy any soul with his money, he shall eat of it, and he that is born in his house, they shall eat of his meat. If the priest's daughter also be married unto a stranger, she may not eat of an offering of the holy things. But if the priest's daughter be a widow or divorced, and have no child, and is returned unto her father's house, as in her youth, she shall eat of her father's meat, but there shall no stranger eat thereof. And if a man eat of the holy thing unwittingly, then he shall put the fifth part thereof unto it, and shall give it unto the priest with the holy thing. And they shall not profane the holy things of the children of Israel, which they offer unto the Lord, or suffer them to bear the iniquity of trespass, when they eat their holy things, for I the Lord do sanctify them.
And the Lord
spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron, and to his sons, and unto all the children of Israel, and say unto them, Whatsoever he be of the house of Israel, or of the strangers in Israel, that will offer his oblation for all his vows, and for all his freewill offerings, which they will offer unto the Lord for a burnt offering, ye shall offer at your own will a male without blemish, of the beeves, of the sheep, or of the goats. But whatsoever hath a blemish, that shall ye not offer, for it shall not be acceptable for you. And whosoever offereth a sacrifice of peace offerings unto the Lord to accomplish his vow, or a freewill offering in beeves or sheep, it shall be perfect to be accepted. There shall be no blemish therein, blind or broken, or maimed, or having a wen, or scurvy, or scabbed. Ye shall not offer these unto the Lord, nor make an offering by fire of them upon the altar unto the Lord. Either a bullock or a lamb that hath anything superfluous or lacking in his parts, that mayest thou offer for a freewill offering, but for a vow it shall not be accepted. Ye shall not offer unto the Lord that which is bruised, or crushed, or broken, or cut, neither shall ye make any offering thereof in your land. Neither from a stranger's hand shall ye offer the bread of your God of any of these, because their corruption is in them, and blemishes be in them, they shall not be accepted for you. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, When a bullock or a sheep or a goat is brought forth, then it shall be 7 days under the dam, and from the 8th day and thenceforth it shall be accepted for an offering made by fire unto the Lord. And whether it be cow or eel, ye shall not kill it, and her young both in 1 day. And when ye will offer a sacrifice of thanksgiving unto the Lord, offer it at your own will. On the same day it shall be eaten up, ye shall leave none of it until the morrow. I am the Lord. Therefore shall ye keep my commandments and do them. I am the Lord. Neither shall ye profane my holy name, but I will be hallowed among the children of Israel. I am the Lord which hallow you, that brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am the Lord. Alright. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them concerning the feasts of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations, even these are my feast. 6 days shall work be done, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of rest, and holy convocation. Ye shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of the Lord in all your dwellings. These are the feasts of the Lord, even holy convocations, which ye shall proclaim in their seasons. And the 14th day of the first month at even is the Lord's Passover. And on the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread unto the Lord. 7 days ye must eat unleavened bread. And the first day ye shall have an holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein, but ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord 7 days. And the 7th day is an holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work unto them. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When ye be come into the land which I give unto you, and shall reap the harvest thereof, then ye shall bring a sheaf of the firstfruits of your harvest unto the priest, and he shall wave the sheaf before the Lord to be accepted for you. On the morrow, after the Sabbath, the priest shall wave it, and ye shall offer that day, when ye wave the sheaf, and he lamb without blemish of the first year for a burnt offering unto the Lord. And the meat offering thereof shall be 2/10 deals of fine flour mingled with oil, an offering made by fire unto the Lord for a sweet savour. And the drink offering thereof shall be of wine, the 4th part of an hin. And ye shall eat neither bread, nor parched corn, nor green ears, until the selfsame day that ye have brought an offering unto your God. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings. And ye shall count unto you from the morrow after the Sabbath, from the day that ye brought the sheaf of the wave offering, 7 Sabbaths shall be completed. Even unto the morrow after the 7th Sabbath shall ye number 50 days, and ye shall offer a new meat offering unto the Lord. Ye shall bring out of your habitations 2 wave loaves of 2 tenth deals. They shall be of fine flour. They shall be baken with leaven. They are the first fruits unto the Lord. And ye shall offer with the bread 7 lambs without blemish of the first year, and 1 young bullock and 2 rams. They shall be for a burnt offering unto the Lord, with their meat offering and their drink offerings, even an offering made by fire of sweet savour unto the Lord. Then ye shall sacrifice 1 kid of the goats for a sin offering, and 2 lambs of the first year for a sacrifice of peace offerings. And the priest shall wave them with the bread of the first fruits for a wave offering before the Lord, with the 2 lambs. They shall be holy to the Lord for the priest. And ye shall proclaim on the selfsame day, that it may be in holy convocation unto you. Ye shall do no servile work therein. It shall be a statute forever in all your dwellings throughout your generations. And when ye reap the harvest of your land, thou shalt not make clean riddance of the corners of thy field when thou reapest. Neither shalt thou gather any gleaning of thy harvest. Thou shalt leave them unto the poor and to the stranger. I am the Lord your God. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, In the 7th month, and the first day of the month, shall ye have a Sabbath, a memorial of blowing of trumpets, and holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein, but ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Also on the 10th day of the 7th month there shall be a day of atonement. It shall be an holy convocation unto you, and ye shall afflict your souls, and offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord. And ye shall do no work in that selfsame day, for it is a day of atonement, to make an atonement for you before the Lord your God. For whatsoever soul it be that shall not be afflicted in that same day, you shall be cut off from among his people. And whatsoever soul it be that doeth any work in that same day, the same soul will I destroy from among his people. Ye shall do no manner of work. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings. It shall be unto you a Sabbath of rest, and ye shall afflict your souls in the 9th day of the month at even. From even unto even shall ye celebrate your Sabbath. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, The 15th day of the 7th month shall be the Feast of Tabernacles, for 7 days unto the Lord. On the first day shall be an holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein. 7 days ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord. On the 8th day shall be an holy convocation unto you, and ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord. It is a solemn assembly, and ye shall do no servile work therein. These are the feasts of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations, to offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord, a burnt offering and a meat offering, a sacrifice and drink offerings every day upon his day, beside the Sabbaths of the Lord, and beside your gifts, and beside all your vows, and beside all your freewill offerings, which ye give unto the Lord. Also on the 15th day of the 7th month, when ye have gathered in the fruit of the land, ye shall keep a feast unto the Lord 7 days. On the first day shall be a Sabbath, and on the 8th day shall be a Sabbath. And ye shall take you on the first day the boughs of goodly trees, branches of palm trees, and the boughs of thick trees, and willows of the brook. And ye shall rejoice before the Lord your God 7 days. And ye shall keep it a feast unto the Lord 7 days in the year. It shall be a statute forever in your generations. Ye shall celebrate it in the 7th month. Ye shall dwell in booths 7 days. All that are Israelites born shall dwell in booths, that your generations may know that I made the children of Israel to dwell in booths. When I brought them out of the land of Egypt, I am the Lord your God. And Moses declared unto the children of Israel the feast of the Lord. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Command the children of Israel that they bring unto 3 I gotta start over, I messed up. Verse 2. Command the children of Israel that they bring unto thee pure oil olive beaten for the light, to cause the lamps to burn continually. Without the veil of the testimony, in the tabernacle of the congregation, shall Aaron order it from the evening unto the morning before the Lord continually. It shall be a statute forever in your generations. Ye shall order the lamps upon the pure candlestick before the Lord continually. And thou shalt take fine flour, and bake 12 cakes thereof. 2 tenth deals shall be in 1 cake. And thou shalt set them in 2 rows, 6 on a row, upon the pure table before the Lord. And thou shalt put pure frankincense upon each row, that it may be on the bread for memorial, even an offering made by fire unto the Lord. Every Sabbath he shall set it in order before the Lord continually, being taken from the children of Israel by an everlasting covenant. And it shall be Aaron's and his sons', and they shall eat it in the holy place, for it is most holy unto him of the offerings of the Lord made by fire by a perpetual statute. And the son of an Israelitish woman, whose father was an Egyptian, went out among the children of Israel, and this son of the Israelitish woman and a man of Israel strove together in the camp. And the Israelitish woman's sons blasphemed the name of the Lord and cursed, and they brought him unto Moses. And his mother's name was Shelomith, the daughter of Debri, of the tribe of Dan. And they put him in ward, that the mind of the Lord might be showed unto them. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Bring forth him that hath cursed without the camp, and let all that heard him lay their hands upon his head, and let all the congregation stone him. Thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel, saying, Whosoever curseth his Lord shall bear his sin. And he that blasphemeth the name of the Lord, he shall surely be put to death, and all the congregation shall certainly stone him. As well the stranger as he that is born in the land, when he blasphemeth the name of the Lord, shall be put to death. And he that killeth any man shall surely be put to death, and he that killeth a beast shall make it good, beast for beast. And if a man cause a blemish in his neighbor as he hath done, so shall it be done to him. Breach for breach, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, as he hath caused a blemish in a man, so shall it be done to him again. And he that killeth a beast, he shall restore it, and he that killeth a man, he shall be put to death. Ye shall have no manner of law, as well for the stranger as for one of your own country, for I am the Lord your God. And Moses spake to the children of Israel that they should bring forth him that had cursed out of the camp, and stone him with stones. And the children of Israel did as the Lord commanded Moses. And the Lord spake unto Moses in Mount Sinai, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When ye come into the land which I give you, then shall the land keep a Sabbath unto the Lord. 6 years thou shalt sow thy field, and 6 years thou shalt prune thy vineyard, and gather in the fruit thereof. But in the 7th year shall be a Sabbath of rest unto the land, a Sabbath for the Lord. Thou shalt neither sow thy field nor prune thy vineyard, that which groweth of its own accord of thy harvest thou shalt not reap, neither gather the grapes of thy vine undressed, for it is a year of rest unto the land. And the Sabbath of the land shall be meat for you, for thee, and for thy servant, and for thy maid, and for thy hired servant, and for thy stranger that shall journeth with thee, and for thy cattle, and for the beasts that are in thy field, shall all the increase thereof be meat. And thou shalt number 7 Sabbaths of years unto thee, 7 times 7 years, and the space of the 7 Sabbaths of years shall be unto thee 49 years. Then shalt thou cause the trumpet of the Jubilee to sound on the 10th day of the 7th month, and the day of atonement shall ye make the trumpet sound throughout all your land. And ye shall hallow the 50th year, and proclaim liberty throughout all the land unto all the inhabitants thereof. It shall be a jubilee unto you, and ye shall return every man into his possession, and ye shall return every man unto his family. A jubilee shall that 50th year be unto you. Ye shall not sow, neither reap that which groweth of itself in it, nor gather the grapes in it of thy vine undressed. Kind of messed up there, but for it is the jubilee; it shall be holy unto you. Ye shall eat the increase thereof out of their field. In the year of this jubilee ye shall return every man unto his possession. And if thou sell aught unto thy neighbor, or buyest aught of thy neighbor's hand, ye shall not oppress one another. According to the number of years after the jubilee, thou shalt buy of thy neighbor, and according unto the number of years of the fruits he shall sell unto thee. According to the multitude of years thou shalt increase the price thereof, and according to the fewness of years thou shalt diminish the price of it. For according to the number of the years of the fruits doth he sell unto thee. Ye shall not therefore oppress one another, but thou shalt fear thy God, for I am the Lord your God. Wherefore ye shall do my statutes, and keep my judgments, and do them. And ye shall dwell in the land in safety, and the land shall yield her fruit, and ye shall eat your fill, and dwell therein in safety. And if ye shall say, What shall we eat the 7th year? Behold, we shall not sow, nor gather in our increase. Then I will command my blessing upon you in the 6th year, and it shall bring forth fruit for 3 years. And ye shall sow the 8th year, and eat yet of old fruit until the 9th year, until her fruits come in, ye shall eat of the old store. The land shall not be sold forever, for the land is mine, for ye are strangers and sojourners with me. And in all the land of your possession ye shall grant a redemption for the land. If thy brother be waxen poor, and hath sold away some of his possession, and if any of his kin come to redeem it, then shall he redeem that which is his brother's sold. And if the man have none to redeem it, and himself be able to redeem it, then let him count the years of the sale thereof, and restore the overplus unto the man to whom he sold it, that he may return into his possession. But if he be not able to restore it to him, then that which is sold shall remain in the hand of him that hath bought it until the year of Jubilee, and in the Jubilee it shall go out, and he shall return unto his possession. And if a man sell a dwelling house in a walled city, then he may redeem it within a whole year after it is sold. Within a full year may he redeem it. And if it be not redeemed within the space of a full year, then the space that is in the walled city shall be established forever to him that bought it throughout his generations. It shall not go out in the Jubilee. But the houses of the villages which have no wall round about them shall be counted as the fields of the country. They may be redeemed, and they shall go out in the Jubilee. Notwithstanding the cities of the Levites, and the houses of the cities of their possession, may the Levites redeem at any time. And if a man purchase of the Levites, then the house that was sold, and the city of his possession shall go out in the year of Jubilee. For the houses of the cities of the Levites are their possession among the children of Israel. But the field of the suburbs of their cities may not be sold, for it is their perpetual possession. And if thy brother be waxen poor, and fallen in decay with thee, then thou shalt relieve him. Yea, though he be a stranger, or a sojourner, that he may live with thee. Take thou no usury of him, or increase, but fear thy God, that thy brother may live with thee. Thou shalt not give him thy money upon usury, nor lend him thy victuals for increase. I am the Lord your God, which brought you forth out of the land of Egypt, to give you the land of Canaan, and to be your God. And if thy brother that dwelleth by thee be waxen poor, and be sold unto thee, thou shalt not compel him to serve as a bondservant,
That as an hired
servant, and as a sojourner. He shall be with thee, and shall serve thee unto the year of Jubilee. And then shall he depart from thee, both he and his children with him, and shall return unto his own family, and unto the possession of his fathers shall he return. For they are my servants, which I brought forth out of the land of Egypt. They shall not be sold as bondmen. They shall not rule over him with rigor, but shall fear thy God. Both thy bondmen and thy bondmaids, which thou shalt have, shall be of the heathen that are round about you. Of them shall ye buy bondmen and bondmaids. Moreover, of the children of the strangers that do sojourn among you, of them shall ye buy, and of the families that are with you, which they beget in your land, and they shall be your possession. And ye shall take them as an inheritance for your children after you, to inherit them for a possession. They shall be your bondmen forever. But over your brethren, the children of Israel, ye shall not rule one over another with rigor. And if a sojourner or stranger wax rich by thee, and thy brother that dwelleth by him wax poor, and sell himself unto the stranger or sojourner by thee, or to the stock of the stranger's family, after that he is sold, he may be redeemed again. One of his brethren may redeem him. Either his uncle or his uncle's son may redeem him, or any that is nigh of kin unto him, that his family may redeem him. Or if he be able, he may redeem himself. And he shall reckon with him that bought him from the year that he was sold to him unto the year of Jubilee, and the price of his sale shall be according unto the number of years, according to the time of an hired servant shall it be with him. If there be yet many years behind, according unto them he shall give again the price of his redemption out of the money that he was bought for. And if there remain but few years unto the year of Jubilee, then he shall count with him, and according unto his years shall he give him again the price of his redemption, and as a yearly hired servant shall he be with him, and the other shall not rule with rigor over him in thy sight. And if he be not redeemed in these years, then he shall go out in the year of Jubilee, both he and his children with him. For unto me the children of Israel are servants. They are my servants whom I brought forth out of the land of Egypt. I am the Lord your God. It's dripping. Alright. Chapter 26. Ye shall make you no idols, nor graven image, neither rear you up a standing image, neither shall ye set up any image of stone in your land, to bow down unto it, for I am the Lord your God. Ye shall keep my Sabbaths, and reverence my sanctuary. I am the Lord. If ye walk in my statutes, and keep my commandments, and do them, then I will give you rain in due season, and the land shall yield her increase, and the trees of the field shall yield their fruit. And your threshing shall reach unto the vintage, and the vintage shall reach unto the sowing time. And ye shall eat your bread to the full, and dwell in your land safely. And I will give peace in the land, and ye shall lie down, and none shall make you afraid. And I will rid evil beasts out of the land, neither shall the sword go through your land. And ye shall chase your enemies, and they shall fall before you by the sword. And 5 of you shall chase 100, and 100 of you shall put 10,000 to flight. Your enemies shall fall before you by the sword. For I will have respect unto you, and make you fruitful, and multiply you, and establish my covenant with you. And ye shall eat old store, and bring forth the old because of the new. And I will set my tabernacle among you, and my soul shall not abhor you. And I will walk among you, and will be your God, and ye shall be my people. I am the Lord your God, which brought you forth out of the land of Egypt, that ye should not be their bondmen. And I have broken the bands of your yoke, and made you go upright. But if ye will not hearken unto me, and will not do all these commandments, and if ye shall despise my statutes, or in your soul abhor my judgments, so that ye will not do all my commandments, but that ye break my covenant, I also will do this unto you. I will even appoint over you terror, consumption, and the burning ague, that shall consume the eyes, and cause sorrow of heart. And ye shall sow your seed in vain, for your enemies shall eat it. And I will set my face against you, and ye shall be slain before your enemies. They that hate you shall reign over you, and ye shall flee when none pursueth you. That's very dark. But guess what? It happens. It really does happen later on. Like a few hundred years, Babylon comes over, and they literally take their seed and eat their food, and they begin to rule over him. Nebuchadnezzar, Darius. That's Persia, though. It literally happens. God warns him. He didn't listen, and you know what he warned them about happened. Anyway, let's keep going. Verse 18. And if ye will not get for all this hearken unto me, then I will punish you 7 times more for your sins. And I will break the pride of your power, and I will make your heaven as iron, and your earth as brass. And your strength shall be spent in vain, for your land shall not yield her increase, neither shall the trees of the land yield their fruit. And if ye walk contrary unto me, and will not hearken unto me, I will bring 7 times more plagues upon you according to your sins. I will also send wild beasts among you, which shall rob of your children, and destroy your cattle, and make you few in number, and your highways shall be desolate. And if ye will not be reformed by me by these things, but will walk contrary unto me, then will I also walk contrary unto you, and will punish you yet 7 times for your sins. I will bring a sword upon you, that shall avenge the coal of my covenant. And when ye are gathered together within your cities, I will send the pestilence among you, and ye shall be delivered into the hand of the enemy. And when I have broken the staff of your bread, 10 women shall bake your bread in one oven, and they shall deliver you your bread again by weight, and ye shall eat and not be satisfied. And if ye will not for all this hearken unto me, but walk contrary unto me, then I will walk contrary unto you also in fury, and I, even I, will chastise you 7 times for your sins. And ye shall eat the flesh of your sons, and the flesh of your daughters shall ye eat. And I will destroy your high places, and cut down your images, and cast your carcasses among the carcasses of your idols. And my soul shall abhor you, and I will make your cities waste, and bring your sanctuaries into desolation. And I will not smell the savour of your sweet odours, and I will bring the land to desolation, and your enemies which dwell therein shall be astonished at it. And I will scatter you among the heathen, and will draw out a sword after you, and your land shall be desolate, and your cities waste. Then shall the land enjoy her Sabbaths, as long as it lieth desolate. And ye being your enemy's land, even then shall the land rest and enjoy her Sabbaths. As long as it lieth desolate, it shall rest, because it did not rest in your Sabbaths when ye dwelt upon it. And upon them that are left alive of you I will send a faintness into their hearts in the lands of their enemies, and the sound of a shaken leaf shall chase them, and they shall flee, as fleeing from a sword. They shall fall when none pursueth, and they shall fall one upon another as it were before a sword, when none pursueth, and ye shall have no power to stand before your enemies. And ye shall perish among the heathen, and the land of your enemies shall eat you up. And they that are left of you shall pine away in their iniquity, in your enemies' land, and also in the iniquities of their fathers shall they pine away with them. And they shall confess their iniquity and the iniquity of their fathers with the trespass which they trespassed against me, and that also they have walked contrary unto me, and that I also have walked contrary unto them, and have brought them into the land of their enemies. If then their uncircumcised hearts be humbled, and they then accept of the punishment of their iniquity, then will I remember my covenant with Jacob, and also my covenant with Isaac, and also my covenant with Abraham will I remember. And I will remember the land. The land also shall be left to them, and shall enjoy his Sabbaths, while she lieth desolate without them. And they shall accept of the punishment of their iniquity, because they despise my judgments, and because their soul abhorred my statutes. And yet for all that, when they be in the land of their enemies, I will not cast them away, neither will I abhor them, to destroy them utterly, and to break my covenant with them, for I am the Lord their God. But I will for their sakes remember the covenant of their ancestors, whom I brought forth out of the land of Egypt, in the sight of the heathen, that I might be their God. I am the Lord. These are the statutes and judgments and laws which the Lord made between him and the children of Israel in Mount Sinai by the hand of Moses. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When a man shall make a single vow, the person shall be for the Lord by thy estimation. And thy estimation shall be of the male from 20 years old even unto 60 years old. Even thy estimation shall be 50 shekels of silver, after the shekel of the sanctuary. And if it be a female, that thy estimation shall be 30 shekels. And if it be from 5 years old unto 20 years old, then thy estimation shall be of the male 20 shekels, and the female 10 shekels. And if it be from a month old even unto 5 years, then thy estimation shall be of the male 5 shekels of silver, and for the female thy estimation shall be 3 shekels of silver. And if it be from 60 years old and above, if it be a male, then thy estimation shall be 15 shekels, and for the female 10 shekels. But if he be poor, then thy estimation, and he shall present himself before the priest, and the priest shall value him according to his ability, that vowed shall the priest value him. And if it be a beast whereof men bring an offering unto the Lord, all that any man giveth of such unto the Lord shall be holy. He shall not alter it, nor change it, a good for a bad, or a bad for a good. And if he shall at all change beast for beast, then it and the exchange thereof shall be holy. And if it be any unclean beast, of which they do not offer a sacrifice unto the Lord, then he shall present the beast before the priest. And the priest shall value it, whether it be good or bad, as thou valuest it. Who art the priest, so shall it be. But if he will be at all redeem it, then he shall add a 5th part thereof unto thy estimation. And when a man shall sanctify his house to be holy unto the Lord, then the priest shall estimate it, whether it be good or bad. As the priest shall estimate it, so shall it stand. And if he that sanctified it will redeem his house, then he shall add the 5th part of the money of thy estimation unto it, and it shall be his. And if a man shall sanctify unto the Lord some part of a field of his possession, then thy estimation shall be according to the seed thereof. Any homer of barley seed shall be valued at 50 shekels of silver. If he sanctify his field from the year of Jubilee, according to thy estimation, it shall stand. But if he sanctify his field after the Jubilee, then the priest shall reckon unto him the money according to the years that remain, even unto the year of the Jubilee, and it shall be abated from thy estimation. And if he that sanctified the field will in any wise redeem it, then he shall add the 5th part of the money of thy estimation unto it, and it shall be assured to him. And if he will not redeem the field, or if he have sold the field to another man, it shall not be redeemed any more. But the field, when it goeth out in the Jubilee, shall be holy unto the Lord, as a field devoted. The possession thereof shall be the priest. And if a man sanctify unto the Lord a field which he hath bought, which is not of the fields of his possession, then the priest shall reckon unto him the worth of thy estimation, even unto the year of the Jubilee, and he shall give thine estimation in that day as a holy thing unto the Lord. In the year of the Jubilee the field shall return unto him of whom it was bought, even to him to whom the possession of the land did belong. And all thy estimation shall be according to the shekel of the sanctuary. 20 gerahs shall be the shekel. Only the firstling of the beast, which shall be the Lord's firstling, no man shall sanctify it, whether it be ox or sheep, it is the Lord's. And if it be of any unclean beast, then he shall redeem it according to thine estimation, and shall add a 5th part of it thereto. Or if it be not redeemed, then it shall be sold according to thy estimation. Notwithstanding Notwithstanding no devoted thing that a man shall devote unto the Lord of all that he hath, both of man and beast, and of the field of his possession, shall be sold or redeemed. Every devoted thing is most holy unto the Lord. None devoted which shall be devoted of men shall be redeemed, but shall surely be put to death. And all the tithe of the land, whether of the seed of the land or of the fruit of the tree, it is the Lord's. It is holy unto the Lord. If a man will at all redeem aught of his tithe, he shall add thereto the fifth part thereof. And concerning the tithe of the herd or of the flock, even whatsoever passeth under the rod, the tenth shall be holy unto the Lord. He shall not search whether it be good or bad, neither shall he change it. And if you change it at all, then both it and the change thereof shall be holy, it shall not be redeemed. These are the commandments which the Lord commanded Moses for the children of Israel in Mount Sinai. We're done. Done with Leviticus. Alright. Going back to chapter 21 real quick. One second. I popped my back. It's a little sore from sitting in this chair. So, immediately, chapter 21 sets the standard of holiness, which was set higher for the priest, while all Israelites were part of the holy nation. The leaders were held to a higher standard in matters such as mourning, marriage, and family. Verses 4 and 5 of chapter 21 says, But he shall not defile himself, being a chief man among his people, to profane himself. They shall not make baldness upon their head, neither shall they shave off the corn of their beard, nor make any cuttings in their flesh. Since contact with the dead defiled a person, priests could not even prepare their wives for burial, because they were not blood relatives. The priest was also forbidden to follow the mourning laws of the Canaanites, who would mutilate their flesh to show their sorrow and pain, as well as to venerate the dead. Verse 7 says, They shall not take a wife that is a whore or profane, neither shall they take a woman put away from her husband, for he is holy unto his God. So, in the ancient Near East, there were two types of prostitutes. Common prostitutes were sexually loose and were paid for their services. Cult prostitutes, on the other hand, committed sexual acts as worship to pagan gods. Although a priest could marry a widow, the high priest could not. Did I say high priest? I meant to say, although a priest could not marry a widow, a high priest cannot. Yeah. Perhaps this was to ensure the legitimacy of his offspring to inherit the high priesthood. Verse 16 through 23 talks about priests to be without blemish. A priest in Israel had to be in good physical condition and without blemish, while in this little passage it lists 12 blemishes that would prevent a person from serving as a priest. Later rabbis expanded the list of blemishes to 142. Of course they would do that because, they just added a bunch of their laws as well. Like, Jesus said, oh, there's no law that says you have to wash your hands. My goodness. You should wash your hands, but there was no law for it back then. Chapter 22 pretty much sum up, since the priests led in corporate worship, they had to be ceremonially pure. The sacrifices they brought also had to be unblemished in order to be acceptable to the Lord. Verses 1 through 3 of chapter 22 says, And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron and to his sons, that they separate themselves from the holy things of the children of Israel, and that they profane not my holy name in those things which they hallow unto me. I am the Lord. Say unto them, Whosoever he be of all your seed among your generations, that goeth unto the holy things which the children of Israel hallow unto the Lord, having his uncleanness upon him, that soul shall be cut off from my presence. I am the Lord. So serving while unclean carried the most severe penalty short of execution, being permanently barred from temple service. Pretty bad. Verse 4 through 5 says, What man soever of the seed of Aaron is a leper, or hath a running issue, he shall not eat of the holy things, until he be clean. And whoso toucheth anything that is unclean by the dead, or a man whose seed goeth from him, or whosoever toucheth any creeping thing whereby he may be made clean. Or of a man he may take uncleanness, whatsoever uncleanness he hath. So, the impurities that rendered a priest unclean are listed in descending order of severity. Verse 8 says, That which dieth of itself, or is torn with beasts, he shall not eat to defile himself therewith. I am the Lord. So this law is actually more strict for the priests than for the common people. Verse 10 through 11 says, There shall be no stranger eat of the holy thing, a sojourner of the priest, or a hired servant shall not eat of the holy thing. But if the priest buy any soul, which is his money, he shall eat of it, and he that is born in his house, they shall eat of his meat. The law was consistent with the instruction given to Abraham to circumcise precious slaves. thus making them part of, the covenant community. Verse 17 through 20 says, And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron and to his sons, and unto all the children of Israel, and say unto them, Whatsoever he be of the house of Israel, or of the strangers in Israel, that will be offer his oblation for all his vows, and for all his free will offerings, which they will offer unto the Lord for a burnt offering, ye shall offer after your own will a male without blemish of the beeves, of the sheep, or of the goats. But whatsoever hath a blemish, that shall ye not offer, for it shall not be acceptable for you. So, these instructions cover burnt offerings. The phrase without blemish comes from a term that means to be complete, perfect. It conveys the idea that sacrifices must be without flaw. Verse 21 through 24, chapter 22 says, And whosoever offers a sacrifice of peace offerings unto the Lord to accomplish his vow, or a free will offering, and beeves of sheep, it shall be perfect to be accepted. There shall be no blemish therein. Lying or broken, or maimed, or having a win, or scurvy, or scab, ye shall not offer these unto the Lord, nor make an offering by fire of them upon the altar unto the Lord, either a bullock or a lamb that hath anything superfluous, or lacking in his parts, that mayest thou offer for a free will offering. But for a vow, it shall not be accepted. Ye shall not offer unto the land that which is bruised, or crushed, or broken, or cut, neither shall ye make any offering thereof in your land. So, that portion covers peace offerings. If you're wondering, covers peace offerings. Chapter 23 is where God, sets aside a sacred period that included feast and holy days to give the covenant community rest from everyday life. These special days would also help them remember his acts of creation, deliverance, protection, and provision. Verse 1 and 2 says, And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them concerning the feast of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations, even these are my feast. So the expression holy convocations occurs 11 times in this chapter, and 8 times elsewhere in the Torah. A sacred assembly was a time during which the people were to lay aside the usual work to focus on the worship of Jehovah, aka Yahweh, God. The 8 days that designated sacred assemblies were the 1st and 7th days of unleavened bread, Pentecost, the 1st day of the 7th month, the Day of Atonement, the 1st and 8th days of Tabernacles, and the Sabbath. Verse 3 says, 6 days shall work be done, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of rest and holy convocation. Ye shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of the Lord in all your dwellings. So the Sabbath is the only holy day commanded in the 10 Commandments, and the only commandment grounded in creation. Examples of work mentioned in the Torah are plowing and reaping, kindling fire, and gathering wood. Work that was prohibited elsewhere in the Old Testament includes trade and carrying burdens. The Hebrew verb Shabbat means to rest or to cease, and is the root on which the word Sabbath was formed. Jesus affirmed that he is a Lord even of the Sabbath day, which happened in Matthew chapter 12, verse 8, and that it is lawful to do well on the Sabbath day, chapter 12, verse 12 of Matthew. The book of Hebrews also speaks of a spiritual rest unto which the community of faith enters through Jesus Christ. We'll be reading Hebrews probably later on this year. Verse 4 through 5, that's exciting. Verses 4 through 5 says, These are the feasts of the Lord, even holy convocations which ye shall proclaim in their seasons. In the 14th day of the 1st month, at even is the Lord's Passover. So, the Passover was celebrated in the 1st month, Abib. It is called Nisan, aka March and April. Further instructions about Passover were given in early Exodus, as we read. You remember, the angel passed over the houses with the lamb's blood and didn't slaughter those houses, but killed the people who didn't have lamb's blood on the doorway, which were mostly Egyptians because they didn't really get the command. But before the Israelites were delivered by God's mighty hand, it was during the Passover feast that Jesus was crucified, signaling that he was the unblemished lamb sacrificed for all humanity. Verse 6 through 8 talk about the Feast of Unleavened Bread, which began on the 15th day of Abib, which is, you remember, March and April. And it was a reminder of the haste with which the Hebrews left Egypt. The word feast designates the event as a pilgrimage, and it could not be celebrated at home. The unleavened bread was usually in the form of small round wafers baked from new grain without leaven. Over time, leaven came to signify corruption. That's why Jesus says, do not trust the leaven of the Pharisees and the Sadducees. And then the disciples were like, is he talking about because we didn't bring any bread? But you should, maybe y'all remember that part in the gospel. But thus the feast was intended to remind the covenant community that they were supposed to purge corruption as they celebrated redemption. The Feast of First Fruits occurred during the week of unleavened bread and was both commemorative and prophetic. During this feast, the Israelites were to show their gratitude to God for his provision. The community of faith was to acknowledge God's provision by giving him the first of their income. The waving of the sheaf was to be an outward sign of an inward attitude. Therefore, it was accompanied by the bringing of sacrifices. The people could only eat from the fruit of the land after they acknowledged God as its source. The word Pentecost, when we read about Pentecost in verses 15 through 22, is this: the word Pentecost comes from the Greek. It means 50th, and it included the period of 7 Sabbaths that began during Passover. Originally, the Feast of Weeks was for the wheat harvest, but later it was tied with the event. Oh my goodness, I messed that word up, didn't I? Events on Sinai. During this feast, the Jews were supposed to show gratitude for God's provision by bringing gifts, by setting aside time for worship, and by making provision for the poor, which we should still do. We should still set time for God. We should give him gifts as in our worship and stuff. And we should make provisions for the poor people. We should go offer the poor people money and stuff. We shouldn't offer, we should give them. I don't know why I said offer, but so the Jews were celebrating this pilgrimage and pilgrimage feast when the Holy Spirit came upon those gathered in Jerusalem in Acts 2. If you remember, the tongues of fire came down. We haven't read that part, but if you read Acts, this is talking about verses 1 through 4, of chapter 2, where the tongues of fire came down. So, verse 23 through 25 says, "And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speaking to the children of Israel, saying, In the 7th month, in the first day of the month, shall ye have a Sabbath, a memorial of blowing of trumpets, and holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein, but ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord." Trust me, dude. King James is difficult to read. So, what later became known as the Feast of Trumpets was observed in the 7th month of Tishri, when the Israelites celebrated the end of the harvest during the post-Celestic time. This day became the Jewish New Year, Rosh Hashanah. That's what it means in Hebrew. So, the Day of Atonement was to be celebrated. This is the next part, but the Day of Atonement was to be celebrated, during the 10th day of Tishrei. Details on the celebration of this day are mostly outlined in chapter 16, which we read last video. So if you want to go hear more about Day of Atonement, go to the last video. But in contrast to other feasts, this was to be a day of fasting, in which the soul were to afflict their souls. I meant to say in which the people were to afflict their souls, which was practice self-denial and express remorse over personal and corporate sin. And then we go on to the Feast of Tabernacles, or Booths, began on Tishri 15th. It was primarily a Thanksgiving feast showing gratitude for God's provision. In closing out the agricultural year, the Tabernacles, in Hebrew, the Sukkoth, I'm sure you said it before, I recognize that. We recognize that, we should recognize Sukkoth, we've spoke about it before, but that was, the Tabernacles, Sukkoth were also reminded that the Israelites lived in tents during the 40-year journey from Egypt to the Promised Land. Jesus went to Jerusalem to celebrate this feast. So, I'm going to be honest. If you watch The Chosen, whenever Jesus goes to celebrate this feast in Jerusalem, actually, you see that there's people out there with a bunch of tents, and the Romans refer to it as the tent village. Now, we don't remember most of that happening in, the actual gospel, but it still should be historically accurate how they made it like a little tent village, because according to the Feast of Tabernacles. So, verses 39 and 43 of chapter 23 just gives additional instructions for the Feast of Tabernacles. This is the only feast where the Israelites are commanded to rejoice before the Lord. Chapter 24, verses 4 says, "He shall offer the lamps upon the candlestick before the Lord continually." The candlestick was a 7-branch menorah. I have a 9-branch menorah, but was the 7-branch menorah that, lighted the holy place of the tabernacle. The light represented the presence of God with his people. Jesus' affirmation that he was the light of the world was a polemic against those who put their faith in a menorah that was only the symbol of a greater reality. Hold on, I'll show you what a menorah is. So this is a 9th-branch menorah with the Star of David on it. This is what it looks like. Take away these. Here we go. Here's a 7-branch. Here's a 9-branch. If you take away the 9th and 1st branch, we have 7. This is what it probably looked like. Not really. It probably didn't have the Star of David by this time. David didn't even exist. Only in, God saw David existing, but, not yet to the people of Israel in Leviticus. But 7th-branch menorah, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? I said it like in a real confusing way, but 7-branch menorah, 9-branch menorah. This is Star of David, like I said, so pretty cool. So, going on, verse 5 through 9 talks about the offering of showbread. And so we see, it talks about 12 cakes or loaves of bread, which were called the showbread. They were a constant reminder of God's provision for the Israelites every day, and especially during the wilderness period. The 12 loaves represented the 12 tribes of Israel, pointing to the totality of God's provision. Jesus affirmed that he was the bread of life in John, and satisfying the spiritual hunger of humanity. I was talking about that to my grandmother yesterday. Or should I say, like, at 1 in the morning. Verse 13 through 16 says, And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, this is chapter 24, by the way. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Bring forth him that hath cursed without the camp, and let all that heard him lay their hands upon his head, and let all the congregation stone him. And thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel, saying, Whosoever curseth his God shall bear his sin, and he that blasphemeth the name of the Lord, he shall surely be put to death. And all the congregation shall certainly stone him, as well as the stranger as he that is born in the land which he blasphemeth the name of the Lord shall be put to death. So the punishment for blasphemy was the death penalty by stoning, which was serious. It also was a punishment used also for those who worshipped Molech. We see, something that Jesus addresses later on in verses 17 through 22, where it says the eye for eye, tooth for tooth. This principle was a figurative way of pointing to God's justice and showed that the punishment should fit the crime. The principle of punishing an offender with the same injury that he had inflicted is called lex talionis. Quoting this verse, Jesus raised the bar in his teaching on turning the other cheek, which was in Matthew chapter 5, the Sermon on the Mount, which, that is offering of forgiveness instead of retribution. Verse 23 says, And Moses spake to the children of Israel that they should bring forth him that had cast out of the camp, and stone him with stones. And the children of Israel did as the Lord commanded. This is the last 12 places in Leviticus where some form of the phrase, as the Lord had commanded, is used. It is found 23 times in Numbers, by the way. So, verse 1 through 7 of chapter 25 are instructions concerning what is called the sabbatical year. Verse 4 says, But in the 7th year shall be a Sabbath of rest unto the land, a Sabbath for the Lord. Thou shalt neither sow thy field nor prune thy vineyard. The expression, my goodness, my tongue. The expression, a Sabbath of rest, occurs only when the sabbatical year, the Sabbath, and the Day of Atonement, these are the only times in which abstinence from all work was prescribed. Verses 8 through 22 describe something called the Jubilee year, which you noticed was the name of the video. We are living in the Jubilee year right now, by the way. So in addition to the regulations related to the Sabbath year, debts were to be canceled and properties returned to their original owners. Verse 8 says, And thou shalt number 7 Sabbaths of years unto thee, 7 times 7 years, and the space of the 7 Sabbaths of years shall be unto thee 49 years. The expression, or the number 7, is sacred, so the expression 7 times 7 years points to a most sacred time with such, ushered in the year of Jubilee. Failure to obey this law was one factor leading to Israel's exile. So verse 10 says, And ye shall hallow the 50th year, and proclaim liberty throughout all the land unto all the inhabitants thereof. It shall be a year of Jubilee unto you, and ye shall return every man unto his possession, and ye shall return every man unto his family. Israel was asked to hallow or sanctify only the Sabbath, and the year of Jubilee. The verb consecrate may be translated to sanctify or to treat as holy. Verse 23 through 55 is, concerns the family redeemer in relation to, the Jubilee year. Verse 23 says, the land shall not be sold forever, for the land is mine. For ye are strangers, and sojourners is with me. The land refers to the promised land, the nation of God's ownership of the land occurs throughout the Old Testament notion. But verse 25 says, if thy brother be waxen poor and hath sold away some of his possession, and if any of his kin come to redeem it, then shall he redeem that which his brother sold. In order to keep property in the family, a well-off relative, known as a family redeemer, was allowed to buy it. This law was applied when Ruth was redeemed by Boaz after her closest family redeemer refused to marry her. And so, in the year of Jubilee, you would blow something called a shofar, which literally means ram. This is a ram's horn. It is an authentic one. It's an actual ram's horn. And a way to test a ram horn is by smelling it. That's how you test the authenticity of a ram's horn. If it doesn't smell bad, then it's not a ram's horn. If it does smell bad, then it is a ram's horn. So every year, every Jubilee year, they would blow this. So we're going to blow it. We are in a Jubilee year. So I'm so glad we're going over this in a Jubilee year. But I'm going to attempt to, because I kind of suck at it. So let's do it. Oh my goodness. See, I told you it's not going to be fun. It's not going to be fun. You kind of hurt. Hold on. This is horrible. Hold on. There you go. Let me try it one more time. Oh, it tickles my lips. Ooh. It's really hard. It's really difficult. Yeah, I can't. I'm not that good at it. Like I said earlier, on my TikTok I have a better version of me doing it, which I should post actually on here. Hold on. There we go. That's a good one. I'm proud of that one. I just was like, I'm gonna do it. That's kind of iffy, but better than most of them. So that's the ram's horn. I attempted to blow it, and I attempted to blow the shofar. It was not good. I apologize. I will post a TikTok video of me doing it, so we can, have a better version of it. But, so, verse 32 through 34 says, notwithstanding the cities of the Levites and the houses of the cities of their possession may the Levites redeem at any time. And if a man purchase of the Levites, then the house that was sold in the city of his possession shall go out in the year of Jubilee. For the houses of the cities of the Levites are their possession among the children of Israel. But the field of the suburbs of their cities may not be sold, for it is their perpetual possession. Even though the Levites were not allotted permanent property in the Promised Land, they were provided permanent residences in pasture land. These consisted of 48 towns and their surrounding fields. Verse 39 through 55 talks about hired servants, not bond servants. So God provided for the poor who had to sell themselves as indentured servants. However, slavery for an Israelite could only be a temporary condition, and the law prohibited harsh treatment provided for release in the year of Jubilee. We go on in chapter 26 now. Over here. Verses 1 through 2 says, Ye shall make you no idols, nor graven image, neither rear you up a standing image, neither shall ye set up any image of stone in your land to bow down unto it, for I am the Lord your God. Ye shall keep my Sabbaths and reverence my sanctuary. I am the Lord. So the verb refers to the detailed observation of the commandments, obviously. The verb keep refers to the detailed observation of the commandments. But the expression, Ye shall keep my Sabbaths, occurs 4 times, and it is an allusion to the 4th commandment about keeping and sanctifying the Sabbath. Verse 3 through 13 is a list of blessings the Lord promises Israel if they keep his law. Verse 4 says, And I will give you the rain in due season, and the land shall yield her increase, and the trees of the field shall yield their fruit. In Hebrew, the word rain is in the plural. It refers to the 2 rainy periods that occurred in autumn and spring. Verse 8 says, "And 5 of you shall chase 100, and 100 of you shall put 10,000 to flight, and your enemy shall fall before you by the sword." The 1 to 20 and 1 to 100 proportions point to the miraculous victories over the enemies with which God would reward his people if they obeyed his commandments. Verse 11 says, "And I will set my tabernacle among you, and my soul shall not abhor you." So the promise of divine fellowship is rendered by the phrase, "I will set my tabernacle among you." This is a direct parallel to John chapter 1, verse 14, where John affirmed that Jesus, the Word, became flesh and dwelt among us, or tabernacled among us. Verse 13 says, "I am the Lord your God, which brought you forth out of the land of Egypt, that ye should not be their bondmen, and I have broken the bands of your yoke, and made you go upright." The bands of the yoke were a reminder of the Egyptian bondage from which God delivered the Israelites. Here Israel is pictured as an animal held down by a heavy yoke. Later, Jesus invited humanity to take his light yoke and partake of his rest. Verse 14 through 39 goes through a list of curses that would befall Israel if they failed to keep the Lord's law. Verse 14 through 17 is 5 sets of curses that begin in verse 14, and they're presented as punishment for disobedience of God's commandments, statutes, judgments, and covenant. These curses match the 5 sets of blessings in earlier verses of chapter 26, but the curses increase in severity with a persistent refusal to repent. The Lord would set his face against his people only after they defiantly turned against him. Verse 18 through 20 says, "And if ye will not yet for all the hearken unto me, then I will punish you 7 times more for your sins. And I will break the pride of your power, and I will make your heaven as iron, and your earth as brass. And your strength shall be spent in vain, for your land shall not yield her increase, neither shall the trees of the land yield their fruits." So, the number 7 associated with the punishment for sin is used figuratively and to mean many times or thoroughly. Verse 22 says, "I will also send wild beasts among you, which shall rob you of your children, and destroy your cattle, and make you few in number, and your highways shall be desolate." So because the Lord is the God of all creation, he can also sovereignly use wild beasts to punish his people, or even people. So the outbreak of wild animals is frequently regarded as punishment for sin. Verse 29 says, "And ye shall eat the flesh of your sons, and the flesh of your daughters shall ye eat." So this was very dark. But we see Jeremiah write about it in Lamentations, how the women were eating their own babies in the streets. You remember that when we read that in Lamentations? It was really disturbing and creepy. But this curse was fulfilled during the siege of Samaria, the capital of the northern kingdom, and later the siege of Jerusalem, as in Jeremiah, Lamentations, like we mentioned, and also Ezekiel, which will probably that's the second to last book we'll read, Ezekiel. It's a good book too. Verse 30 is very uncomfortable to read sometimes. Verse 31 says, "And I will make your cities waste, and bring your sanctuaries into desolation, and I will not smell the savor of your sweet odors." The expression, "I will not smell the savor of your sweet odors," refers to the fact that God would not accept his people's sacrifices, because at first he was rejecting the people. Sacrifices without obedience are meaningless, because he values obedience over sacrifice. He wouldn't care if you obey the law thoroughly. He wants obedience from you. And if you did obey the law thoroughly back then, you were being obedient to God, but you had to keep all his statutes, all his judgments, all his laws, all his commandments to be obedient. And you have to love him as he is your God, and love your neighbor as well. Verse 33 says, "And I will scatter you among the heathen, and will draw out a sword after you, and your land shall be desolate, and your cities waste." The Hebrew verb zarah, translated here as scatter, can also be translated renew. You remember that? In the mind of the Jews, it would trigger the image of wicked people being blown away like chaff. Verse 34 through 35 says, "Then shall the land enjoy his Sabbaths, as long as it lieth desolate. And ye be in your enemy's land, even then shall the land rest, and enjoy his Sabbaths. As long as it lieth desolate, it shall rest, because it did not rest in your Sabbaths when ye dwelt upon it." So this curse anticipates Israel's failure to keep the Sabbaths. The chronicler fused this verse with Jeremiah's prophecy that the exile would last 70 years. Verse 40 through 45 are verses explaining that restoration could be possible though. Verse 40 through 41 says, "If," key word right there. If they shall confess the iniquity and the iniquity of their fathers with their trespass, which they trespass against me, and that also they have walked contrary unto me, and that I also have walked contrary unto them, and have brought them into the land of their enemies, if then their uncircumcised hearts be humbled, and they then accept of the punishment of their iniquity. So, like I said, the word if is very important. It indicates a turning point and involves a note of hope. The promised restoration is contingent upon the people's confession of iniquity and their humility. The verb translated humbled is literally to bring to one's knees. Verse 44 says, and yet for all that, when they be in the land of the enemies, I will not cast them away, neither will I abhor them to destroy them utterly and to break my covenant with them, for I am the Lord their God. So the purifying agent will be the exile, not the flood that destroyed the earth during the time of Noah. Like the exile of Assyria, Samaria, not Samaria, the exile of Assyria and Babylon. I don't know why. Samaria got punished. So did Edom, Egypt, Gideon, Israel, Judah, every single nation almost. Dude, Egypt got plundered. If you remember reading that in, Ezekiel. Yeah, Ezekiel. Egypt was plundered. Babylon came from, what, the North Kingdom? Can't remember. It's very confusing, but a lot of that's listed in, the major prophets and stuff, and, scattered throughout minor prophets. But, verse 2 through 8 of chapter 27. So, this talks about law regarding vows. So, people who were dedicated by vow to the Lord's service could be redeemed through a sum of money established by God or the priest. Verse 9 through 13 were instructions concerning vows of animals. It says, shall be holy, which that's a phrase in these verses, and that means that it becomes the property of the sanctuary. Verse 14 through 15 is concerning houses or fields that are dedicated as the sanctuary, the meaning of sanctify. Verse 26 through 33 were instructions concerning exceptions to the previous laws on vows. Verse 26 through 27 say, only the firstlings of the beast, which should be the Lord's firstling, no man shall sanctify it, whether it be ox or sheep, it is the Lord's. And if it be of an unclean beast, then he shall redeem it according to thine estimation, and shall add a fifth part of it. So no one can sanctify firstling because it is the Lord's. Verse 28 through 29 says, notwithstanding no devoted thing that a man shall devote unto the Lord of all that he hath, both of man and beast, and of the field of his possession, and shall be sold or redeemed. Every devoted thing is most holy unto the Lord. None devoted, which shall be devoted of men, shall be redeemed, but shall surely be put to death. So the penalty for disobeying God's law regarding things devoted unto the Lord was death. So verses 30 through 33 talks about this thing called a tithe. The tithe is not a human invention, but a divine command. The first time the tithe is mentioned in the Bible was when Abraham, before he was named Abraham, gave a tenth of what he had to Melchizedek. You remember that? Whenever those wars were going on and the people took Lot away from Abraham, not away from Abraham, but took Lot from his place, his settlement in Sodom. But the Israelites are told to tithe of the land. During the monarchy, the tithe was important because it provided the capital necessary for day-to-day operation of the temple. The giving of the tithe was revived by Nehemiah during the post-Exilic era, since it seems that the practice had been ignored. Through the prophet Malachi, which we've already read, God rebuked the people for robbing God by not bringing the tithes to the temple. You remember that? The priests were being very disobedient and were letting people get away with their sin, specifically because they were rich people and nobles and people with high authority. But even then, they should not get away with it. Like Herod the Tetrarch, he should not have gotten away with things he did. He did very laws in Leviticus that went against God. Like, you shouldn't take your brother's wife, especially while he's alive. He took his brother Philip's wife. So, should not have done that. That's it for Leviticus. I'm going to blow this one more time, and that's it. That's good. That's a good one. Okay. 3 good ones today. Alright, I'm getting better at that. I've had it for over 2 months, and I've been so happy to use it on this video. You have no idea. I got it just specifically for Leviticus, actually. So I can do that. Anyway, next thing we will be doing is Colossians and Mark and Numbers. So, everyone, get ready for the book of Numbers. It's such a exhausting book at first, but then it gets pretty interesting, especially with Korah's rebellion and all of that. They prepare to go into the promised land, and Deuteronomy is one I'm really excited for because I love Deuteronomy. But, so, okay, yeah, schedule. Probably going to finish Colossians first, and then whenever Numbers and Mark are going to be like combined with one another, it's going to be like Mark, Numbers, Mark, Numbers, Mark, Numbers, Numbers, Numbers. We're going to finish Numbers first. No, we're going to finish Mark in 4 videos. We can finish Colossians in 2 videos. Ooh, Numbers is like 36 chapters. How should we? I know chapter 7 is like extraordinarily long. We could do 6 chapters each video. Chapter 7 is like 89 verses. Yeah, exactly 89 verses actually. We could, I'm thinking like, should we shorten that video? Because that's going to be an extremely long video. And basically, it's just a real boring chapter. It's not boring. It's just exhausting because you read about people offering stuff that raise a bunch of shekels and stuff. But it's still important, but a lot of people don't really like reading things that don't apply anymore. But it's the Lord, and it parallels things, so we shouldn't have a problem with it. But I'm afraid we'll put it out. Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Lord, I thank you for today. I thank you for giving us wisdom. I thank you for giving us insight and understanding. Lord, I pray that whenever we go into Colossians, Mark, and Numbers, that you'll give us wisdom and insight and continue to allow us to understand your word, Lord. And pray that if I said anything that affected people today, that you spoke through me, that they can go out and, also become teachers of the word, of the law of Christ. Not the law of Moses, the law of Christ. Leviticus was fun. Happy Jubilee year, happy celebration, happy Feast of the Trumpets, happy Feast of the Tabernacles, all that. We don't celebrate most of those holidays no more, but still, it's a good Jubilee year. It's awesome. So, I thank you for today. I thank you for all the things you've done throughout this book. It was a real exciting book. It got me excited, even though it was a book of law. Who in the heck would expect that to be fun? But it got me excited. So, I thank you for all this. I ask that you can continue to pour out your love and grace upon us as we praise you. In your name I pray. Amen. God bless, guys. Good night, and love y'all. See y'all next video.